Welcome to the ATP Project. You're with your host, Steve and Jeff. G'day, mate.
How are you?
Good, buddy. I am interested to talk about all things nuts today. So it's a fascinating topic. It's something that a lot of people use and eat. Some people go, no, there's too much fat in them. Some people say there's not enough protein. Some people say they're good. Some people say they're bad. But nuts should be a staple of your diet. And there's a lot more to them than just protein and fats. So, Steve, you've done a deep dive into nuts.
Yes.
And the nice thing is as well, too, and correct me if I'm wrong, some things I like about nuts is if you're on a ketogenic-based diet, they're a very good source of food.
Oh, absolutely, particularly macadamia nuts.
Well, I was going to say, because the ratio of fat to protein is actually pretty much well in the sweet spot, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, you mentioned macadamia nuts.
I know.
And again, Steve, I know you've got a whole heap of different nuts that we're going to be talking about.
Absolutely.
We were talking before, we can't really rank them.
No.
But if I had a go-to nut, it would probably be the macadamia nut. Now, in Australia, we've got unbelievable macadamia farms. I remember when I came here from New Zealand many, many years ago, and we went up to the Sunshine Coast, and they had this train, and was it the Big Banana?
Oh, no, the Big Banana's in Coffs Harbour. It's the Big Pineapple, isn't it?
It's the Big Pineapple. It's a Big Pineapple.
Pineapple, yeah.
And is it still going?
I don't know.
Can we have a look? Is it still going?
Run to markets and stuff. It's not the same as it used to be.
Oh, because I went up there and, mate, they had the most amazing hot roasted nuts. Like, and literally there was just people going through getting paper bags of hot nuts, and then you jump on the train and you'd run around. Did you ever do that, Matt? It was great fun. No, and I like those nuts were probably the best thing. Like, I still have a vivid memory of them from 1987 or 1988 when I first came here. So like, that's how good they were. They were hot roasted nuts, like right then and there. It's just excellent.
Yeah. Well, they're all good for your nuts. I mean,
roasting them increases the fat content, though.
It's funny you should mention that. There is a nut, and I will let you guess this one because I think you'll guess it. There's a nut that actually gets healthier as you roast it.
Please say it's macadamia.
It's macadamia.
It is.
Yeah.
I've got some roasted macadamia salted downstairs.
Really?
I love them because I have not been training as I should. I mean, this tendon bicep thing is getting me under. I was actually just complaining to Matt. I've been so stressed out and so focused on other things at the moment, and then injury. I just haven't been putting in the effort into my training. And it's funny because I said to Tony last night, I said, it's going to be fun to really get back into doing what I love and just putting a lot of the stuff behind me and focusing on my training. Yeah. One of those things that I did previously was use protein shakes with coconut milk. Yeah, right. Because I'd go on more of a ketogenic-based diet and having more nuts and seeds into my diet. And it's fascinating because obviously we're going to be talking about not just the macronutrients, but all of the other benefits and even some of the compounds within certain nuts and a seed that we can talk about. But throwing back to that, Steve, what happens to macadamia nuts when you roast them, and why is it better?
It's incredible. It's one of those things you find in studies that you go, wow, I didn't know that. And this is one of them. It says, and I'll just read the conclusion of this study. Yeah. It was published in 2021. And it says, overall, the sensory, nutritional quality and oxidative stability of roasted macadamia nuts were greatly improved compared to raw nuts.
Really?
Yeah. So even you know how you think when you roast something, you oxidize it?
And it gets worse.
Yeah. This is the opposite.
Well, a lot of fooditarians, I don't know what you call them, say, no, I'm only eating raw food. I'm eating raw kale. Okay. I'm eating raw carrots. I mean, like some things you can, you know, some things are great raw. Yeah. Raw eggs, not so good for you.
Rocky Balboa drank it in the 80s.
Yeah, no, but I mean, there is an enzyme that changed when you cook that. Some things are eggs are 100% better once they've been cooked.
If you don't cook an egg, there's stuff in there which can deplete biotin from your body.
Yeah. What's that, Steve? Do you know?
I can't remember the name of the protein in it, but it depletes biotin, and biotin is very good for your hair. Skin and nails.
So raw eggs, no. Well, I never would anyway. I mean, it's funny though. You see these guys, after in the 80s, yo, Adrian, and they'd be like they're gonna, drink their eggs because they want to put on muscle, right? Because it's full of protein, and that's hardcore, and it's what Rocky did. But it's actually really bad for you.
Well, it's bad for you, but it's also to get more out of your protein. You need to denature the protein by cooking it.
And let's not forget about the fact of salmonella. as well too. You get a hairline crack in your egg and you get salmonella poisoning. But when you cook eggs, the bioavailability of the protein is better as well.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah. When meat was cooked, you can get more amino acids out of it, which was part of the evolution of man when they started.
Right.
Instead of eating it raw.
Cooking stuff.
Because eating meat raw, like red meat, is okay.
Yeah.
Chicken, not.
Well, the Russians make one where they don't cook it at all. It's just put into a solution. What am I looking for?
Acidic solution.
It's
called steak tartare.
Tartare, that's it. That's exactly it, Steve-O. But obviously there is I don't want to say the word enzymatic change.
Yeah, enzymatic change, yeah.
Yeah. I trip over my words so badly, but and that obviously enhances the ability for the body to be able. It's almost pre-digestion, right?
It acidifies it.
Yeah.
So if you're out on a boat and you're fishing and you get a yellowfin tuna,
I've done that before.
Yeah, you can dip it in, hot sauce, and and that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Getting yellowfin tuna is the hard bit because they're
not when I go out. That's all I seem to catch.
Yellowfin tuna.
We're out in Fiji and that. It's I'm going. Give me a Spanish mackerel because I love Spanish mackerel. Like Tony has a fantastic, recipe for them, which she just makes it with steamed rice, coconut, and a little bit of chili.
Right.
Oh, so good. Anyway, there's nothing like fresh fish.
We're talking about nuts
today.
All
right, sorry, mate. I'm getting carried away.
No, it's good.
All right.
So macadamia is a really good.
So when you cook the macadamia, sorry, just to repeat,
right.
What happens to the fat content? What happens to?
Well, the fat content is quite stable in a macadamia because it's 60% oleic acid.
Yeah, right.
Which is an omega-9, which is the monounsaturated fat.
Right.
So roasting it at 180 degrees does bugger all.
Yeah,
It's quite stable.
Yep.
About 20% is a saturated fat, which in its natural form is actually very stable as well. So most of the oils in macadamia are very stable, very heat stable. In fact, you can fry in a frying pan, which is way hotter than an oven, like food with olive oil, which is oleic acid.
What about using macadamia nut oil? Because I see some people use that. Would you... I mean, in terms of all of the oils, and I guess I'll be going off a little bit here, based on your research, and again, I didn't ask you to look at this, but what do you think of nut oils for cooking as opposed to olive oil? Do you still think olive oil is the gold standard?
Olive oil, if it's the virgin one,
yep,
with all the polyphenols, that's probably the better one. But macadamia oil is also another good
Pretty good one?
Yeah, very good one.
Is it oryzanol? What is the other... That's from brown rice, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oryzanol?
Gamma-oryzanol is from brown rice, which is very good for your gut.
Yeah.
And that's an oil in brown rice.
Could you combine a few of these things, Steve-O, maybe to get a bit of a smorgasbord?
A smorgasbord.
It's a smorgasbord.
The only reason I say olive oil is because it's been tested for years.
We did speak about the olive oil last, and we're like, man, the benefits of that are pretty awesome, right?
Oh, they're extraordinary. I mean, because of the polyphenols, but we're going to be mentioning that word polyphenols a lot today.
So lastly, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Arnold Schwarzenegger used to say, what he used to say is get to the chopper. What he used to say is that macadamia nuts were the best, and he used to incorporate them, I believe, every day, right?
Yeah.
But there is a unique oil, I believe, in macadamia nuts, which I believe, if I remember correctly, and this is going back 20 plus years ago, had a strong benefit for enhancing muscle, but I can't remember what it was. And Arnold used to absolutely swear by macadamia nuts for the oil that it had.
Oleic acid is very good, but also the other acid, about 20%, is palmatic acid. Now, palmatic acid is a type of saturated fats which greases arachidonic acid in the body.
Oh, well, I was going to say, I know that we even mentioned that last time, right?
Yeah.
So arachidonic acid, maybe that's what he was talking about.
Well, it could be. And everyone, when I was training,
William Llewellyn, or what's his name? I forget his name. He actually brought out supplements many years ago. I've spoken to the guy, very smart guy. And it is pro-oxidant.
It's very inflammatory.
Yeah.
And when I was training, inflammation was the enemy of everything, and it kind of is, but not short-term acute.
Okay.
It's like when you exercise and you produce free radicals, everyone thinks, oh, that's bad, but that actually improves your health.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's really good. Geez, he's almost as muscly as I am, Arnold.
Good old Arnold. He's just amazing. I've met Arnold.
Really?
I went to see him down at one of the shows. He absolutely hero. Love his movies.
Walked past me once at one of his shows. At an ATP when we were...
I can't believe he was just... why wouldn't he just ask for a selfie or something, Steve?
I was amazed, didn't ask me for anything.
Well, we were down there one time and and I went to get his photo, and I went up and I went to walk past him because I was getting a photo with a friend, and he's strong. I was amazed how strong, because I went and walked past him and he grabbed my hand and he wanted me to stand on his right side. I was going to his left because I had a friend of mine coming up to stand on his right side, and he just pulled me into place, like, you know. And I was probably a bit bigger then. I was probably 110 kilos, right? And Arnold, I think they say he's 6'2". I'm 6'3", and like he's not 6 foot.
He's 5 foot something. He's shorter than me.
Yeah, not according to his profile.
Really?
Yeah, I think he's.
No, he's about 5'9" or something.
No. I think in all honesty, and maybe he shrunk a little bit, but I think he was probably. I would say, yeah, as I said, I'm sort of 6'3" in my shoes.
6'2".
No, there's no. In bare feet, I'm 188 centimetres. Like that's me. I'm bare feet. I'm 188, right? Mate, I reckon he was at least. If he was 180 centimetres, I'd say he's pushing it.
Yeah.
So I don't even.
183 is 6 foot.
Maybe. But yeah, I doubt it. Anyway.
But he says in his profile he's 100. He's your height.
Yeah. No, he's not. He was not.
No. I mean, he's now 70 something. Don't know how old he is, but
yeah.
So he may have. Oh, there you go. There's his height.
6'1.5".
According to Vince. Who's Vince? According to.
And his prime. And look, the thing is as well too. To be fair, I mean, he did a lot of exercise, which may have actually put some pressure on his spine.
Oh, yeah.
So you know what I mean? Like, you know, as you age, you do definitely get smaller. So like my dad was 6'1", and when he passed away, he was just on 6 foot. So like you can actually decrease.
No,
so in his prime, back in the 70s, you know, he actually might have been, right? So.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, when I walked past me, he didn't seem that tall. But anyway, I've never measured the dude.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. There's something online saying, has Arnold Schwarzenegger been lying about his height? Yeah.
No, you know what? I'd prefer to give him the benefit of the doubt and just say that all that heavy training has probably compressed his spine, and he's probably, you know, because you can actually shrink a fair amount.
He's not a short man. He wasn't like, I just looked, that's Arnold. I didn't care about his height.
I did. Anyway, but just call me shallow. All right, so on from there. From anything else about macadamias in terms of, you know, what would you rank that nut out of 10, Steve? Especially if you're on a ketogenic based diet.
All right, yeah. Then that's a 9 because
it's a 9.
It's almost the only reason I'm giving it a 9 is because I got some whoppingly. Oh God, I was going to say something rude then. I was going to say I've got some whoppingly big nuts coming up, but we would not say that online.
We better not say that.
I've got some whoppingly good nuts coming up. That's just bad. We're just going to be. We've got to wait.
Okay, Steve. All right. So you've got some good ones coming.
I've got some good nuts coming.
All right, good one.
But that's a 9 because it's a really good nut. Really good for you. All nuts are good for you.
I love them. All right. So you've got a 10 out of 10 nut coming up. Is that what you're saying?
I've got a 10 out of 10 nut
okay.
coming.
Well, we'll leave that one to the end.
Yeah, all right.
Whatever the 10 out of 10 nut, let's leave that one right to the end, all right?
Yeah.
So, okay, I really do love the macadamia nut.
Yep.
I love it for its taste.
Yep.
It's so funny, Tony doesn't like it. Yep. It's funny, but yeah, for me, especially when I'm getting onto the keto or the high protein, low carbohydrates type diets, it's an absolute winner for me. Now, you got to be careful that you don't overeat because obviously there is a crap ton of calories in there, but brilliant for in between meals, brilliant for satiety. Mm-hmm. You know, obviously it's got that unique fat profile in there as well too. That unique fat. Oil.
Yeah, the oleic acid. And
but good to have roasted.
Yep.
Fantastic little treat.
Yeah, it is good, and so
just don't. And it's delicious, and I absolutely love it. But just don't smother it with honey or chocolate. But I love the honey coated macadamia nuts. Geez, they're good.
Oh.
I tell you what. But I could, I mean, if you're going to have a naughty indulgent treat, I mean, honey's good for you in moderation.
Yeah.
Nuts are good for you in moderation. Combine those two things together. But again, sugars and fats combining is probably not the best thing for your waistline.
No,
but
right.
but it is delicious.
No, it's a good one. So it's a really, really good one.
All right. What else do you
Now, in this, and I'll get some emails about this, but I included peanuts because they're not nuts technically, but I've included them because everyone thinks they're nuts. You know,
they're legumes.
Yeah.
So what's interesting about peanuts is that my opinion of peanuts has actually improved over time, specifically when we talk about the peanut skin.
Yeah, it's really high in polyphenols.
And so beer nuts, I think, is what we typically you'd look at them. So if you look at Matt, if you look at the
Bear nuts.
I know, but I can't. I'm a Kiwi.
Bear nuts.
I can't say beer nuts. Is that right?
That's right.
Oh, there you go. You know, I have to really channel my inner Aussie. Beer nuts.
And how do you say it in Kiwi? Bear nuts?
Beer nuts.
That sounds a little bit rude, doesn't it, or not? Or is that one pressing the button?
But okay.
We can talk about bear nuts.
They're very dangerous. Don't grab a hold of those.
No.
So, but no, I think as far as I just forgive my accent, right? But bear nuts, right? The thing I like about them is that they've got the skin on them, which obviously. But Steve, go for it.
Right.
Tell me, because I mean, I would have used to have gone peanuts, peanut allergies.
Yeah.
I think the amino acid profile's pretty terrible in them.
Well, I've got a paper here called "Peanuts as a Functional Fuel, a Food," 2016. So I'm going on that paper, and what they've found is some really interesting stuff. Yep, polyphenols. You're right. But it's also.
But is that in the skin, the polyphenols?
Yeah, and in the nut, but less quantities.
Yep. Okay.
Okay. So it also contains phytosterols. Now, what are phytosterols? If you think of the word ols, they're sterols, and what you do when you eat them is it blocks the absorption of cholesterol. Now, I don't care if because we're going to talk about, cholesterol. Eating cholesterol is not that bad for you. But phytosterols are also very good for you with other things too.
Wow.
So they've got a benefit. You're going to love this. It's also a good source of coenzyme Q10.
I did not know that.
No, I didn't know it till this paper, so I can act like I knew everything. But, you learn something new every day.
Yeah, wow.
So it contains all of the 20 amino acids, or 22.
Oh, there you go. My assumption was that it was poor. Is it because it's legumes?
Well,
maybe?
it's a bit all over the place with its amino acid profile. It's
Yeah.
very high in arginine. That's its main claim to fame.
Okay, so you've got to watch out if you've got cold sores and you could be susceptible there.
If you've got herpes, you shouldn't be eating nuts or chocolate.
No.
It's very high in arginine. You should be having the leucine-based amino acids and lysine.
What happens if you've got monkeypox?
Oh, I don't know what happens then.
I think-
Arginine would increase cell viral replications.
Okay.
Just by the mech. So,
Apparently, I think they're calling it mpox now. You're not allowed to call it monkeypox.
Oh,
because monkeys apparently are getting really upset.
Oh, yeah, they would, wouldn't they? Yeah. Imagine getting human virus.
Yeah.
HPV.
Monkeys are looking there going, hang on a minute, that wasn't us.
Well, there are human viruses, a human papilloma virus. Human Coxsackie virus. Got to be careful how you say that.
I know.
Whew. So,
is that because you're thinking of monkeypox?
Another great thing about peanuts, and you're going to love this, is that it's some studies have shown that it promotes longevity.
Really?
Yeah, promotes longevity. I love that. So, pretty interesting.
How does it promote longevity? Like how?
All right.
Because of the coenzyme Q10.
Coenzyme Q10 is one mechanism.
And what does coenzyme Q10 do for you?
Coenzyme Q10 is if you think of the energy cells in the body that make all the energy.
The mitochondria.
Mitochondria.
Yep.
There's a little part of that called the electron transfer chain, which is where you make most of the energy in the Krebs cycle. And CoQ10 is an important part of that.
Wow.
And that depletes as you get older.
Yeah, right.
So, if you're my age, geez, bugger all. But so if you take, that's why people take CoQ10. It's one of the reasons is for energy. Because it can shortcut the Krebs cycle and you get more energy out of it.
Okay.
So it's an energy-producing food. But also the arginine is good for vasodilation. You don't want too much of it.
Sure.
But you want some in there to dilate the blood vessels.
Okay.
All nuts are high in arginine.
Yeah.
But this one is the highest.
Okay.
And it does contain all the amino acids in it too, so it's a complete protein.
I thought too much arginine, Steve. I mean, obviously, if you're eating it, it gets in your gut, right? So it vasodilates the gut. But some of it gets out systemically. Yeah,
you still need it. It's still a good amino acid. You just don't want too much of it. But so peanuts have got a few good things now. Now it's also
that's pretty surprising.
Yeah, and it's also high in phenolic acids. Okay. Which are very, very good for you. They're like polyphenols.
Yeah.
They're part of the phenols.
Do you know what? Peanuts is something I virtually never eat.
No, I don't either.
I might now.
Yeah. I mean, why not? I wouldn't shy at them, but it's not something I'll buy that often, actually, come to think of it.
No.
Yeah. Very high in potassium as well. So all the nuts are high in potassium, but these are, again...
Any watch-outs with peanuts?
Allergies, of course.
Sure.
Yeah, they can be literally fatal.
Have we ever done a study, Steve, on the rise of allergies?
No, but
because surely, again, it's one of those things is that you can go, allergies are on the increase, and people go, yeah. But it's like, well, where's the study around that?
I could find you one.
Because, I mean, it's one of those sorts of things. Is it awareness, or is it actually true? Because, I mean, you know, back 100 years ago, you didn't have an EpiPen. You had an allergic reaction, you died. That person no longer has an allergy. You know what I mean?
That's true.
So is there a correlation, which does not mean causation, or is there actually something that we can hypothetically go, you know what? This is a probable cause or requires further investigation.
The one that the leading hypothesis is called the hygiene hypothesis.
With nuts?
Well, with all allergies.
Well, nuts, eggs and seafood seem to be, I mean, I don't know, but those are the ones that seem to be absolutely...
At my nephew's school, 5-year-old, they're not allowed to take peanuts or peanut sandwiches to school.
In the secondary school, they're allowed to, though.
Oh.
So this is something, because I've got 2 boys, one in secondary, one in
yours
primary.
Is banned too?
In the primary, but not in the secondary.
Oh, okay.
So, you know, so I'm not sure why, but anyway.
Well, you tend to grow out of allergies because you're born allergenic. Because your immune system has, 4 parts, but say 2 main parts. One's the TLP2, one's TLP1.
Yep.
TLP1 protects against viruses, bacteria. TLP2 protects against parasites. So they both got their roles.
Yeah.
But when you're born TLP2 dominant because the TLP1 needs to be suppressed during pregnancy because that also fights off foreign tissues. So, you know, when Tony was giving birth, those boys are 50% your genes.
Yep.
So
it's the good genes.
Oh, jeez. So they're technically, and I sound awful here, but they're technically a foreign tissue.
Right.
To Tony's genes.
Yep.
There's someone else's genes. So her immune system, like everyone's immune system, progesterone goes up, which drives down TLP1, so as the children don't get killed by the immune system.
Yeah.
And that's how, you know, that and of course they're born TLP2 dominant, but then they get exposed to bacteria and viruses and all sorts of breast milk and, you know, through the birthing canal, all sorts of microbes are in the atmosphere and their immune system theoretically balances up. But nowadays we have too many kids that are born, they could be not exposed to bugs. There could be a lot of cleaning around them with antimicrobials. They're not allowed to play in the dirt anymore. They're not allowed to be exposed to things as an infant, like peanuts or anything. They're highly protected. And so what that is, it sounds great, but they're too protected and they're too hygienic. And so there's this thing being published in the papers called the hygiene hypothesis, where these kids are have got too much TLP2, which means too much TLP2 leads to allergies. So that's the main problem they believe with kids these days.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, lots of problem with the kids these days. Those old people. So that's the problem. So they just need to be exposed to more, not typhoid, but you know, like normal bugs. You know, just like normal bugs in the soil and that. You know, like we used to go and play out in the soil and everything as kids. Nowadays,
absolutely. All right. So what else?
All right. You want another nut? Well, that's my favourite nut.
Yeah.
But do you like pistachios?
I do like. You know what? That's Tony's favourite nut. She's a sucker for pistachios. Anything pistachio.
They're beautiful.
And obviously, the thing I love about the pistachios is the richness and the vibrancy of the colour. Because people can just go, oh, they're green. But if you look at their skin, the skins go from like this purple hue and it's almost like shining and, it's fascinating. And I'd imagine that pistachios, just on the look of them, would have a rich spectrum of polyphenols.
That's their main claim to fame.
Well, there you go.
Again...
Do you know what, mate? I'm not just a pretty face. People say I'm just here to make you look good, Steve. But, you know, because...
That's their main claim to fame, but they've got other really good benefits.
Okay.
Like they're rich in polyphenols, which in this study says pistachio consumption on the gut microbiome is reviewed with promising results. So it does help the gut microbiome. All nuts do, because they're all good for you, but this one particularly because of the rich polyphenols.
Yeah.
But it also has beneficial effects on the cardiovascular system.
Really?
So it protects against heart disease. Now, a lot of these do, and the best of that is a different nut, which we'll get to.
Okay.
But this one...
Is that the 10 out of 10 nut?
It's one of the 10 out of 10.
Oh, you've got 2 10 out of 10 nuts. Okay. All right.
Maybe I'll make that one 9.5.
Hang on. You didn't give the peanut a rating.
All right. I'm going to give it an 8.
An 8.
It's still good for you.
Would you put a part of your smorgasbord of nuts? Like, would you? I mean, were you going? Because I'm pretty much almost exclusively a cashew and a macadamia nut guy. Right. Are you mentioning cashews?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
There's some good stuff on cashews.
But that's pretty much all I eat. But now I am going to add in a little bit more. And I do like pistachios. I do find them freaking annoying. But my question to you, Steve, is getting pre-peeled pistachios, surely they lose some of their goodness.
They use a little bit, but they're mainly monounsaturated.
Okay.
So they're actually quite good for you.
So even if you get pre-peeled ones, they're okay?
Yeah. And also they're an excellent source of vitamin C and vitamin E, which is unusual. Vitamin E I get because they're in all nuts, but vitamin C.
But, I mean, people get carried away with vitamin C too much, Steve. I mean, we're always like, calm the farm on vitamin C, right? Oh, I need it because I've got a cold coming and we've 150 milligrams is all you need, right?
Yeah, but up to 250 if you're really desperate. But you don't need that much. It was a big meta-analysis released yesterday.
Yesterday?
I saw it yesterday. Probably a few months ago now.
Oh.
But it showed that vitamin C at gram doses is unnecessary.
Totally. And we've been saying this for years.
Yeah, I mean, it's because all the studies, it was a meta-analysis, so it's not new news, it's just more refined news.
Right.
So pistachio reduces heart disease, it lowers your lipids, and a lot of these nuts do, so don't get excited about that. But what I love about this is one of the most beneficial benefits is it also helps with glucose homeostasis. So if you've got diabetes.
Get out.
Yeah.
Hang on a minute.
Yeah.
So, Steve-O, that is part of the big push for fat loss and weight control.
Yeah.
So how does that work, and what could be
I've got a better nut if you want to lose weight.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I'll tell you. Tony's calling me a bit porky at the moment. So.
Oh, is she?
Yeah, she is.
That's a little harsh.
Well, no, it's probably true. It's not really harsh if it's true,
yes,
right? I feel like Banjo from Bluey standing on the scales.
Oh, that's right. That got in trouble, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. Anyway, I'm just going to mention it every time. Please, if you're listening anywhere around the world,
that's good.
Go and watch Bluey. It's one of the best cartoons you could ever watch.
Yeah, it's fun.
Anyway,
another good thing, this was found to improve the endothelial function. Now, do our listeners know what endothelial tissue is?
No.
All right. Inside the arteries, you've got endothelial cells that line all your arteries and blood vessels. Now, as you age, they become tighter, and you've heard of hardening of the arteries?
Yeah.
And that means they don't dilate. Now, the endothelial cells relax it. And what it does is it takes arginine from your diet, which is rich in nuts, and it takes it, turns it into nitric oxide.
Fantastic.
And that dilates the blood vessels.
Wow.
So this is very good for lowering blood pressure and very good for endothelial function, because NO, or nitric oxide, gets oxidised. So because this is super high in antioxidants like vitamin E and C and polyphenols, it can very much dilate your blood vessels. So if you've got high blood pressure, pistachios are your best friend.
So pistachios is almost like a love nut.
Yeah,
because it would the nitric oxide could work not just in the heart, but a little bit, probably downstairs. about two feet south of there.
Yeah, and
depending on your height.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's very good for that, and also very good for oxidative stress. But the other thing that I found great about this is it's potently anti-inflammatory.
I love food as medicine.
Yeah.
So when are they going to ban nuts?
Pistachio also in this paper, and this is published 2022, called Why Should Pistachios Be Regular Food in Our Diet, is it's also anti-obesity, as you correctly pointed out before.
Yeah.
It reduces type 2 diabetes in the studies, reduces heart disease, and reduces another disease called cancer.
Wow.
Yeah. Amazing, isn't it?
It is amazing.
So that's pistachio.
I mean, we're only a couple of nuts in. We're only a couple of nuts deep, as we like to say. But what we've already discovered, Steve, is that realistically, for people who are vegan and vegetarian, you should grab a handful of nuts every day. You should.
Absolutely,
but you should. Because, I mean, seriously, like how the benefits are already there. So obviously nuts are also high in minerals as well too, Steve.
They're all high in magnesium and potassium.
Fantastic.
And calcium.
Fantastic. So obviously there's no vitamins per se except for vitamin C and vitamin E.
E is in all nuts too.
Okay.
Because E's found with
that's a fat soluble.
Yeah.
Vitamin C is not fat soluble.
No.
How on the earth is that in the skin?
Yeah, it's in there. It's in there. That's why I mention it, because it's not usually found in nuts. I eat a lot of nuts. I buy them by the 1.13 kilo from Aldi. I mean, not Aldi, from Costco.
But what do they put? What I'm concerned about is, do they spray my nuts? Are they like basting them and are they genetically modified?
Typically not.
Okay.
No, because they grow quite readily as they are.
Okay. What do they do to the soil? Do you know? Like, I mean, in terms of, because I mean, again, we like to eat fresh and organic and local in season.
Yeah.
But nuts do store particularly well.
They
travel well.
Yeah.
They're relatively easy to farm.
Yeah. I was looking at the mineral analysis of these, which is an indicator of how healthy the soil is, because you can't make minerals.
No.
It has to come out of the soil, and they're all pretty good.
So, Steve, I'd love to have a look at the concentration of minerals in nuts over the past 50 years and see if they're on the downward spiral. Because, I mean, again, we know that they don't let the land lay fallow. Yeah. We know that there's over-harvesting.
When I was looking at all the nutrient contents...
Because you know that somehow they're going to screw up our nuts. You know it. I mean, it's such a good product.
It's really good stuff. It really is wonderful stuff. Nuts, they're so healthy for you. I'm just scraping the surface because we've got to get through 7 nuts in a 40-minute podcast.
Oh, it doesn't have to be 40 minutes, Steve.
Yeah.
Who says it has to be 40 minutes? Let's go load Joe Rogan on this. Let's Joe Rogan on these nuts.
All right.
Let's go 2 hours.
No, we can do this.
You know what? I don't mind stretching out the nuts.
Glad to hear that. All right. Well, have we finished with pistachio?
Is there anything else you want to mention?
No, they're the main highlights for that one. It is a really good nut.
Give me a score out of 10, Steve.
9.5.
Whoa!
I'm keeping.
Whoa! Yeah. Don't.
But for taste, it's a 10. Gee, I love them.
So do I.
Oh.
Pistachio ice cream, pistachio biscuits. I'm kidding. But actually, just pistachios on themselves, a little bit of salt. There's probably. Yeah. The only thing I find annoying is obviously having to crack them, which is why I was asking them, if you get pre-cracked nuts, do they lose much of their benefit?
No, because minerals don't get destroyed. They can't be destroyed.
Okay.
Mineral, if there's 10 milligrams in that nut there and you leave it in the sun for 3 months, it's still 10 milligrams of mineral.
Yeah.
You can't destroy a mineral because a mineral is an atom. Unless you split the atom.
But there's no oxidization of the oils?
There is, but these oils are pretty stable. Because they're used to being out in the environment. You think where they grow.
I mean, if they crack them and they're open, I guess they could oxidise anyway, right?
But things like macadamias improve with oxidisation.
And have you ever tried to open a macadamia yourself?
Oh yeah, I have with a hammer.
They are a bitch.
Yeah.
They really are. For people that don't know, they've got a hard. Google that up.
Very dark brown.
Yeah, and seriously, like you try and use your teeth on that, your teeth are going to come off second best. They are literally like a diamond,
like a peanut. You can split with your hands.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a good one.
All right.
Now here's one that I've called a nut that we're going to get emails about because it's a seed. I've got 2 seeds today.
Okay, 2 seeds. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I hope one of those is. Oh, no, I'm not going to.
No.
You're going to dash my hope, Steve. I'm going to say I hope it's a seed, and then you're not going to do it. All right. What? All right. Give me.
This one was almost a 10. And I'd give it a 10 except for the fact that I've got another one that's the actual 10.
So what, you're giving it a 9.9?
9.9 this one.
Oh, jeez.
It really is interesting because it's rich in lignin-type active ingredient. Now, lignins are a really great source of chemicals that are extremely beneficial for so many parts of your cardiovascular system. And that's where its claim to fame is. And according to the paper, sesame seeds...
sesame seeds.
Yep.
Okay.
29th of August or 30th of September this was published, so 2022, so this late last year.
You can get white and black sesame seeds.
Yeah, you can. I've picked the white ones.
Is it much different?
The black ones are good too.
Okay.
This was published by Wei Zhao Wang Shao Xu and Meng. So that's a Chinese paper. It is
great.
It was published in China. So that's the seeds they use over there. So that's why it's well researched. Okay, so they have potent antioxidant capacities because of not only the tocopherols, which are vitamin A, it's got tocotrienols in it.
Oh, what's that?
They're a subclass. They're like alpha, beta. They're a subclass of vitamin E, and they're really potent antioxidants.
Huh?
Gamma tocopherol was one that's a specific type of vitamin E that's in there.
I've heard of gamma. I was actually going to say I've heard of gamma
tocopherol,
which is vitamin E, but it's a substrate. But I've heard of the gamma. What does that do?
Oh, it protects the LDL cholesterol specifically against oxidation.
Wow.
Now, if LDL
so that could be hardening of the arteries.
Yeah, or heart disease, heart failure, all the problems with that. So this is really good for your heart. Sesame seeds are particularly good for your heart.
Okay. There's some amazing desserts that are made with sesame seeds. I've had them before. They're super sweet. But do you know those ones?
I've seen them. I've seen balls of sesame seeds that are sort of sweet.
Yeah. I don't know. What is that, Turkish? Who makes that? There's some nice stuff.
Wow.
Anyway, yeah.
Really good
What's tahini made from?
Sesame seeds.
Yeah. That's something that I think people should incorporate.
Oh,
more.
Absolutely. Because it's still got the hulls, the hull on it. It's just crushed sesame seeds.
Who makes tahini? What nation does that come from?
Oh, I'm going to say Sri Lanka, but I'm guessing. Oh, there's sesame seeds. Oh, look at them all.
Yeah. Because it's funny, eh? I don't really think... I actually had some sesame seeds. I had some white and black yesterday on my sushi.
On your sushi, there
on
you
my
go.
sushi, but yeah, tahini. Middle East.
Middle East, yeah.
Hulled sesame. Hummus also as well too.
Hummus does have it in it with, of course, chickpeas
Oh,
and garlic. So you make hummus.
Wow.
When I used to make it.
oof.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yum. That looks nice. For people that can't see, we're just drooling over sesame seed, like baking and stuff like that.
Look at those balls.
Italian sesame seed cookie. Look at that. Oh, I love those sesame seed bites, man. That's flipping awesome. Man,
Look at the green balls.
Sesame seed crust salmon. Look at that.
Wow.
And those sesame seed balls do look freaking awesome.
Those balls look nice,
Black
don't they?
sesame chocolate cake. Oh, look at that one. It's got pistachio and sesame seed together.
Oh, they got black balls too.
That looks good. That does look good.
They do.
Black sesame seed balls.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Black sesame seed snaps. Oh man, I want sesame seed now. You know what? We've got our resident Iranian that lives with
Yes.
us. And she is brilliant in the kitchen. So I'm gonna ask her to make me some.
God,
Is that bad?
No, she's a food technologist.
She is a whiz in the kitchen. I'll tell you. Yeah, she's great. All right.
So the main take-home messages from this paper:
Eat them for your heart.
Yep, it's a potent antioxidant.
Yep.
It reduces cholesterol.
Yep.
And it regulates blood lipid metabolism, but also it's great for liver and kidney protection.
Wow.
Yeah, so it protects your liver and
How?
kidneys.
Through those?
Through antioxidants.
Alpha, beta.
But also protecting the blood vessels, because you got to remember the kidneys. They're like the liver, are very filtering organs. Okay, they filter shit.
Yeah.
There you go. There's anatomy 101.
Yeah,
they filter shit.
Yeah, that's great.
And so they have to. The blood
mouth.
vessels have to become very, 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 very small to filter it. So they become damaged quite easily when there's too much, oxidation in the body, and so those blood vessels are quite fragile in the liver and kidneys. So these protects those fragile. Those fragile blood vessels. So they're really, really important to protect your liver and kidney.
Wow.
It also protects your heart by protecting the blood vessels that feed it.
Yep.
It's potent anti-inflammatory, so it reduces inflammation in your body.
Yep.
It's also anti-tumour.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's sort of like...
Okay, no wonder you're giving it a 9.9. I'm interested as to why it doesn't get a 10. What are you giving it a 0.1 deduction for?
Well, the paper says, and other things. So I said, what other effects? And I looked through it, and it does everything for you. It also...
Sesame seeds.
Yeah. Oh, it just says, it helps your bones, and it's very high in calcium.
Calcium, of course, right.
But it also helps your bone. It increases osteoblasts. So I went, what? So I had to draw the line somewhere about what this thing does. It goes on forever.
So realistically, Steve,
Yeah.
Nuts and seeds, and there's a couple we haven't mentioned yet.
There's a better one. Well, people
whoa.
are going to disagree, but for me...
All right, hang on. Is there anything else on sesame seeds before we move on?
No, that's pretty much it.
Matt, our tech, our producer, our technical director, whatever you want to call him, I don't know, Grand Poobah, is a vegetarian. Matt, do you eat a lot of nuts?
Well,
I was going to say, are you going to eat more now? Yeah. Like, how good are they, right?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Oh, yeah. No, it's incredible. I knew they're very, very good for you, and... it's just incredible what they do and which ones you want to eat. And, the ones I get, the cheap ones from Costco, they're all in the big container all at once, and I just sit there. They're 3 pounds worth of nuts for the Americans, but they're 1.13 kilos. So
it's a lot.
It's a lot, but you get through them. Just keep scoffing them.
Yeah.
It's got Brazil nuts in there, which is a nut that I didn't talk about. I've got an honourable mention for it, though.
Okay, well, I was going to say, all right, because we need to talk about Brazil nuts.
Yeah.
Steve, what specifically about Brazil nuts do you want to mention?
They're super high in selenium.
Yeah, and look, for anyone who listens to our podcast, I think we rabbit on about Brazil nuts and selenium a lot, right? But they are probably one of the highest selenium-based foods you can get, right?
They certainly are. Garlic's up there too, but selenium is. And you only need 2 or 3 nuts a day.
Yep.
The taste of them is questionable. Because,
I don't like them.
Yeah, because of the polyphenols in them are a bit bitter. So
but you know what? This is the thing we need to work out. That typically where you see bitterness, typically there's some really cool polyphenols in there, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a good nut.
Yeah, but you can always make a meal out of it as well too, like Brazil meal or almond meal and that sort of stuff. But Steve, anything else about the Brazil nut that's special?
Not really.
Not really. It's just that selenium.
Yeah, selenium. So I didn't print out a paper on that.
Right. Yep.
So I've got probably my.
Do you want to say? Are we going back to nuts or are you staying on seeds?
Oh well, we're back to nuts actually.
All right. So you're leaving the last seed for last.
Yes.
And then you've got a last nut. So
this is
your second last nut.
I have. This is the second last nut. What's that one? Yeah, that's a nut too.
It better be cashew.
It is cashew.
Good. There you go.
Look at that.
Yeah.
That's cashew nut. This is a paper called The Effects of Cashew Nut Consumption on Body Composition and Glycemic Indexes, Meta-Analysis, Systematic Randomized Trials. So it's a very powerful
What's that in English?
Randomized controlled trial.
Okay, thank you.
It's so long.
So, Matt, bring up a picture for those that are listening. I never knew, and it's quite fascinating, how cashew nuts grow. They are fascinating.
Oh.
Do you know how they grow, Steve?
I think I remember something like that. There they are.
There you go. So have a look at growing. Yeah, there you go. So it is the weirdest. Like they kind of grow on the bottom of a fruit.
Yeah.
I know. No, it's weird, right? It's really weird.
So for those who are listening, we're just looking at pictures of nuts.
Look at that one over there with the red and the orange and all the rest of it.
Oh, that one looks a bit X-rated, doesn't it?
Oh, it's funny, isn't it? So there you go.
It looks like for those
how to grow a cashew tree.
It looks like a small pear, and sticking out the bottom of the pear is a nut.
Yeah, it's weird. It's really weird. So anyway, the thing about cashew nuts that I am absolutely gobsmacked with, you're like this is that's sort of it's a punny. That's why is that they have got incredible benefits for your oral hygiene.
They do.
And it is something that just really fascinated me. If you've got poor dental and oral hygiene, absolutely, I would be munching down a couple of the cashew nuts, even almost turning it into a bit of a paste and allowing it to sit in your mouth and even wash it around with a bit of water before you swallow it and then leave it for a period of time. Because, Steve-O, why are cashew nuts good for your oral health?
They're very good because they're antimicrobial, and they kill bugs like the strep, the staphylococcus that causes all the thing, because they're used traditionally as an anti-ulcer medicine.
Wow!
And as you know now, like from 40 years ago, we know that ulcers are caused by microbes.
Yep.
So we the way they treat in Western medicine nowadays is they give you a triple treatment of 2 antibiotics and 1 antacid, and it kills the bug that causes the ulcers, which is usually Helicobacter pylori. So
for people who have got ulcers in their gut, would you suggest that this could be beneficial?
Absolutely.
It's great.
It's
I didn't even think about that. I was just thinking about the mouth.
Yeah, no, it kills microbes, and it kills microbes because of, guess what component? Polyphenols.
Wow. And I mean, when we say polyphenols as well, too, guys, there is a spectrum of different types of polyphenols. I mean, we kind of lump them all together. It's like saying vitamins, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, there's so many different types of polyphenols that do so many different things. But this is quite a unique one to this nut.
It's a brilliant one. Yeah, it's got the type of polyphenols that kill bad bugs.
Wow.
So a really good one. The thing I love about this nut is it's probably the most flavoursome, or for me.
I love them.
Yeah, they're addictive. They literally taste too good to be true.
What happens if they're roasted, Steve?
They're fine.
Okay.
They've got the type of polyunsaturated, so they're mono mainly.
Is it better to eat them raw or better to have them roasted?
It's better to have them roasted, these ones too.
Really?
Because the bioactive compounds, such as antioxidants, polyphenols and phytosterols, are released easier. So it's more digested. So, I mean, the nicest tasting food on the planet, arguably. You know, this stuff tastes great.
Yep.
But
macadamia, cashew, sesame cookies.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Now you're talking. Just, you know, I mean, really, really important nut. What this has been used for is antioxidant because of the microbe, but it's also antimicrobial. So this one is the great antimicrobial for the gut.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, this is what it's claimed to fame. It's anti-inflammatory, anti-ulcerogenic, as I mentioned.
That's crazy.
So it also is very good to treat cardiovascular disease, but it's also got an anacardic acid, which is an acid that is potent antioxidant and is also an anticonvulsant.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's good for convulsions.
Wow.
So if you're on the ketogenic diet for, say, epilepsy, you could add some.
Definitely add these in.
You know, they've got a bit of carbohydrate, a little bit, but nothing too bad.
Yeah. Are they the highest carbohydrate nut?
They are.
Yeah.
The ones I tested anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Steve, what's the amino acid profile? I mean, we probably don't have it. I didn't ask you to, but it would have been really cool to actually do an amino acid spectrum profile and actually sort of work out a combination of nuts that actually, because obviously some are really high in some aminos and some are low in other ones. You know, if you get a blend of nuts and seeds, it might actually be able to effectively create, as you'd say, the best profile.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't do that, but like peanuts, which are legumes, have got all the amino acids. But there's some of these that don't have like some amino acids, like taurine. There wouldn't be in these nuts.
Yep.
Taurine's non-essential.
Yep.
But it is for infants. Taurine, by the way.
Yeah.
But not for adults. So. But I didn't look at all the amino acids.
Is there typically, is taurine the one that's not found in most nuts? Is taurine sort of like...
Yeah, you won't find taurine in any nuts because it's made in livers of animals.
Yep.
So it's only in animal food.
Yep.
Or, you know, humans make taurine. So not the end
What
of
do
the
we
world.
need to make taurine? What amino acids?
Taurine is made from cysteine and methionine.
Okay.
And it's sulfur-based amino acid. Yep. It's used in the body to make bile and to detoxify.
It won't give you wings? Sorry. The reason why I say that is that caffeine drinks, a popular one, will put it in there to actually stop heart palpitations.
Yeah, correct. It's very good for your heart.
There you go.
Taurine is extraordinarily good for your heart.
It's the most abundant or second most abundant amino acid found in the heart.
I think it's the most abundant.
Most abundant, yeah.
Yeah, because it's such an important one for the heart regulation.
Yeah, there you go.
Because you need an on switch and an off switch, and taurine's like an off swich.
Okay.
So it's a good one.
All right, so what would you give that one? What would you give that one out of 10?
Cashews, well, 10 for flavour.
Yeah.
And a solid
benefits?
9.
Solid 9 for effect?
But if I had a parasite, I'd give it a 10 in my gut.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so, But I'll give it a 9.
Yeah.
Because it's got...
Does it kill anti-parasitic?
Yeah. Anti-parasitic.
As well as antimicrobial?
Yeah. Parasites are ulcers. But it just kills everything as it goes through.
Okay.
Nice stuff, eh?
Huh.
So that's the...
All right, so far I'm upping my pistachio, my sesame, my beer nuts, shut up, and keeping my macadamias. I'm eating all my nuts. Yeah. The only one I'm probably not going for is the Brazil nut because I get selenium in one of my supplements. I know it's a cop out, but still.
That's all right. All right.
I just don't like them.
We've got a really good one here.
I used to eat them.
And this is such a good one that it's a review on almonds.
Well, I was going to say, you haven't mentioned almonds.
No.
And look, almonds are famous in the fitness and wellness community for helping with satiety. Oh. They reckon have, you know, a handful and a small handful, 5 to 6 almonds in between your meals. It's going to stop you from overeating. Good source of protein. The skins on them are brown and, you know, you don't want blanched almonds. You want the skins because they're very, very powerful antioxidants, polyphenol sort of stuff.
You're all correct.
So I find them boring. I've got to say, I find almonds boring. Yeah. I really do. I mean, compared to the excitement of macadamias and cashews to eat, they're not terrible. They're just boring.
They are. They don't taste much. You've got to eat them with the skin on too. That's the deal. But it's funny. All the research on the health of them. You know, I've got papers on all these nuts. They're about 10 pages. This one's 52 pages long, just on almonds and clinical trials.
Wow.
It's published 2021. Comprehensive review of almonds.
Do you know what's sad, Steve? Do you know you know where almonds, I think, were you know how we say, like, turmeric is one of the king probably of spices, if that makes sense. And pomegranates are probably the king of fruits.
Yep.
Almonds I believe, used to be the king of nuts.
This is from 14 randomised controlled trials, so there's lots of trials in this.
Yep.
But what it does is it decreases both the average body mass and fat mass. So it specifically targets fat mass. So you lose fat and you lose weight if you consume almonds.
Did it have an amount? Was there a ratio?
42.5 grams a day. That's the trials. It sounds a bit nerdy, doesn't it? But that's what they did.
I love it, Steve. I love it. So, all right. So tell me what, because I mean, almonds, this is your piece de resistance, right? This is your number 10.
Oh, I've got a better one.
There's a
Well, for me,
I mean, in terms of you want to be eating all of these things, but hang on,
yeah.
don't even look at that paper yet, Steve. So I don't know what it is. I haven't looked at the title. I'm not even going to guess what it is. Actually, I don't know. Actually, you haven't spoken about pumpkin seeds and you haven't spoken about sunflower seeds, but I don't know if it's either of those two.
One of them is.
Oh, okay. All right.
All right. So if you eat this, you will lose weight above, even if you add it into your diet, which is just weird. Because it modifies the gut microbiome.
Right.
That's cut a long story short.
Right.
So it modifies the gut microbiome.
So it's the polyphenol action.
Polyphenol action.
Right.
But also it fills you up. So
yes.
what they gave these trials, they said just add, because it increases satiety.
How does it increase it? Because, I mean, can I tell you something? This is why I love bodybuilders and being in the industry for a long time. We would absolutely treat ourselves as lab rats. We would use stuff. We didn't know if it was good, bad, or indifferent. But bodybuilders, because they understand their body so well, they instinctively knew. They didn't have to be told by some doctor or a scientific paper. They knew for themselves, and so the bodybuilding community was relatively, tight-knit. Hey, I use this. This worked for me. And almonds have legendary status for helping specifically people who were overweight trying to maintain calorie control if they were over-consuming food. It was one of those things that I used to recommend to people all the time. If you're finding that you're getting too hungry, almonds mid-morning, but specifically mid-afternoon, and a handful. So, and that's kind of what I'd say, sort of like, around about 10, 8 to 10 for a girl and sort of 10 to 12 for a guy.
Absolutely.
Twice a day.
And that's about 50 grams. So what it does is, it's really interesting. It's really, almonds, among other things, very good for your heart. And it works by reducing triglycerides, which are fats in your blood.
Right.
So when you reduce those, leptin works better. Leptin is the signal that tells your body to not eat. It says, I'm full, stop eating.
So is it it's too strong a word, and I don't want to show my naivety in terms of the science, Steve, but is it an antagonist to ghrelin? Yeah,
because ghrelin works to increase hunger.
It's the enemy of if you're trying to lose weight, effectively, because it just means like eat. Yep.
Yeah.
So does it offset?
Yeah, it does, because leptin tells your brain to say stop eating.
Right.
Ghrelin says eat. So it's just it offsets that because it makes your leptin molecule work better.
Right, so there's probably a lot of people on this podcast jumping in the car now, going down to their local to buy some almonds.
So they should.
Yeah.
With all the other nuts too.
Mid-morning, mid-afternoon.
Yeah.
You can even have it in breakfast and things like that as well too, but what I'd say is particularly a good time to look at that is maybe afternoon and or even potentially in the evening, especially after dinner and you're used to sitting on the couch and looking for something, that can help.
Yeah, it is a good one, but probably its main claim to fame is the heart. It's been published in the Framingham Heart Study.
High levels of vitamin E, isn't it?
Yeah, really good for that. Reduces blood pressure. Really good for. But the main claim to fame for this one is your skin and brain. These nuts, so they're very, very good for enhancing cognition performance in your brain.
How?
Because the type of oils in this.
Yeah.
Alpha-linoleic acid is very good for making the oils in your brain work better because you need omega-3s in your brain.
Yeah.
So it's got good source of omega-3s. Not as good as one coming up later.
Okay.
But it's still really good. So they all overlap the nuts anyway.
Okay.
But it's also very good for reducing the rate of facial skin aging from exposure to UVB radiation.
We could use a little bit of that, Steve-O. Absolutely.
And then it talks about improving the microbiome, which we've spoken about. So how good is that?
So it's hitting everything. It makes me look better, making me skinnier, helps my brain, my cognitive function, helps my heart.
Lose weight. But it's like...
All right, so you're giving that out of a score out of 100.
Oh, Oh, shit. Yeah, I'd give this one 99.
So we're giving it a
9.9 out of 10. But 99 because it is really, really good.
Really, really good.
And it depends. Like, what you want out of life. If you want a better brain and skin...
I'm so glad you. I thought you'd never ask, Steve.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's a
better skin. You're going to look. You're not going to have a face like a busted Savaloy.
Yeah, it depends on what you're seeking. So this is a good what I'd term the aging nut.
The aging nut.
Because if you're getting older, you may.
Is there any selenium in
Oh yeah, they're in all the nuts, but yeah, selenium's in all the nuts, but there is in almonds as well.
Yeah.
So
a good amount.
In almonds it was because it's a good sort of source in the way it's grown.
Yeah.
Yeah. So good one, eh?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Where do almonds grow? Can you just show me how almonds grow?
Yeah.
Because I don't actually know how they grow.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. I have seen those little holy things. There you go. Very interesting.
That's amazing. Look at that.
I'm always fascinated because doctrine of signatures as well too, right? So, but yeah. You know, it's been years since I've seen almonds in their husk.
Yeah.
It's been years.
Yeah.
So there you go. So for those that are listening, we're just kind of looking at it. They sort of grow in little green pods.
Yeah.
Those pods then dry up and the fruit, if you like, kind of pulls back and then there's like a big seed.
Yeah.
And then obviously the almonds are the kernel, I guess, of the seed. Which is funny because it reminds me a little bit of apricots.
Oh, yeah.
Because apricots are the same. Apricot is the fruit on the outside. The seed is in the middle, and then the kernel is so they're almond kernels, aren't they?
Yeah.
So that's why they were high in B17.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
There you go. Now we know.
All right.
I've got two left.
Well, which way do you want to go first? Are you going back to the seed or are you going to the nut? How about you go the seed first and then we go the nut last because this is a nut /
Yes.
All right?
Yeah, I agree.
All right,
so this is the one you mentioned before. It's pumpkin seeds.
Pumpkin. Okay, you had to.
Had to.
Because for men, and my understanding of pumpkin seeds is that if you're a man, you need pumpkin seeds. Pumpkin seeds have a very strong relationship with the prostate, correct, Steve?
Very much so, and aging, but it gets more than that. I'll just read you. It's funny because they give you the keywords in the title, and this was published in Scientific African, which I found very interesting. It is anti-helmintic, so anti-worms.
Okay.
Kills worms in your gut.
Okay.
Anti-diabetic, resolves diabetes in a lot of studies.
What?
Just by adding it, yeah, type 2. Yeah,
okay.
Found dramatic improvements.
Okay.
Also, it's a potent antidepressant.
Get out.
Antidepressant. Also, a bit boring, but antioxidant, very healthy for you.
It's not boring.
No, it's not boring. This one's certainly not boring. Anti-tumour.
Right, and it has an affinity with the prostate, right?
Yep, getting there. It's also
Sorry, I just can't wait to get down to that.
No, I know. It's also cytoprotective. So in other words, it helps heal the gut.
Oh.
Which is probably its anti-worm effect too.
Right.
It also, and I'll quote this, ameliorating microbial infections of the gut. So really good one for getting rid of any bad... It's antiparasitic, so it's very good if you've got a gut infection. But gets better.
Better than Combantrum?
I wouldn't want to compare it against that, but yeah, probably. Well, it's healthier. It's healthy for you. You can eat this anytime. You don't have to, you know. It's also great for your liver. Really good for enhancing liver function.
Wow.
So if you've got a problem with your liver...
So the liver king should be eating his liver and...
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And, of course, it's extremely good for BPH or prostatic health.
Yeah.
So that's... I mean, all those things, even on their own, is extraordinarily important. Now,
how many seeds do you need to eat a day to get those benefits, Steve?
30 grams a day. And it's also the highest seed that's highest in magnesium of anything. It's the highest, richest food of magnesium in the world, yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Get out.
Top of the food chain.
You know how easy it is to grow pumpkins as well, too? Literally, you could throw some seeds out into the backyard and they're going to grow.
Yep.
And did it matter in terms of, was it butternut pumpkin, Japanese pumpkin?
Yep.
Like, you know, it doesn't really matter?
Doesn't matter. And some studies suggest that this has, and this is for the bodybuilders, 12% leucine of the amino acid.
Wow.
So it's very high in branched chain amino acids.
Wow.
So very good for fats and all that stuff. I've got the amino acid breakdown of this one, so
okay.
very good. And
anything it's really deficient in? I mean, like if you got the branched chain amino acids, that's good. But I mean,
no, it's got them all. It's even
glutamine,
tryptophan, glutamine. Yep. Glutamine, glutamic acid, which is the same
glutamic
thing.
acid, 4-to-1 conversion, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So quite high in arginine. Sorry?
Got tryptophan.
Got tryptophan, yep. So very good for your brain, which is why it's antidepressant. You know, it's got leucine, isoleucine, and valine in it.
Wow.
No, it hasn't got taurine, but no one has. So very good amino acid profile.
Well, that's good.
Great fatty acid profile. Great for omega-3s and omega-6s.
And how would you suggest, Steve? Roasted, non-roasted?
The roasting didn't adversely affect the compounds in this.
This is the best news I've heard in years.
Yeah, it is. And these things taste great too. But I think the magnesium is special mention, you know what I mean? It's like really, really incredibly high dose of...
Anybody over the age of 40 should be incorporating. So 40 grams, Steve, is that right? 30 grams?
30 grams.
How many seeds do you reckon that would be? What's an average weight of a seed?
I'd say a gram. About a gram.
I don't know.
Maybe less. I'd say probably 60 of them, 30 to 60.
Okay.
Yeah.
Matt, you going to have some of these? Absolutely. Okay.
Good source of magnesium. It says potassium, phosphorus, as well as zinc, manganese, iron, calcium, sodium, and copper.
Wow.
Really good stuff.
Wow.
Really good stuff. This is
out of 10, Steve?
Well, this is for the seeds. It's a 10.
Yeah, it's a 10.
Because look, I'm an aging man. You know, I'm prone to cancers and prostates and all the other crap that this helps.
Yeah.
You know, you got to be eating this every day.
All right.
The thing is, there's no downside. There's no downside to eating these nuts. They're tasty. They're good for you. You know, incredible.
Good one. All right.
Okay, last one is
on to the drum roll. On to the last.
Yeah,
King of the hill.
And we're going to get arguments about this, but this is what I think is.
So
is the
last,
best.
hang on. So what we've mentioned almonds, we've mentioned cashews, we've mentioned macadamias, we've mentioned Brazil nuts, we've mentioned peanuts, pistachio nuts. Oh, wait, there's one that we haven't mentioned.
I hope it's this one.
Walnuts.
Yes, it is this one.
It is. Yeah.
Walnuts.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean again. Doctrine of signatures suggests that it's got to be good for your nuts. No, it's got to be good for your brain.
Got to be good for your brain. It's very good for your brain.
Yeah.
It is very
I don't like walnuts, though.
Oh,
and do
no.
you know why I don't like them?
Why?
Probably because they're so rich in polyphenols and you get that bitter sort of taste to them.
They do have a bitter taste.
But walnut salad, I guess, is probably the time I eat it. Yeah, with apples. Yeah, that's probably about the only time I eat it. But I would say that of all of the nuts, I would say this is probably the one I would eat the least, with the exception of probably the bear nuts, which are available everywhere. But in terms of, I guess, even with humans, I would imagine that walnuts would be the thing that I reckon people would eat the least. Do you reckon?
Probably, unfortunately, but you're probably right. Now, you mentioned the doctor's signature is very good for the brain. Okay, it is. It's got oils that
kind of, you open it up and it looks like a brain.
I know it does. But it's better than that because the alpha-linolenic acid in there, which is omega-3 oil, is metabolized into oxyliptins. Now, what's an oxyliptin? It's a great chemical to reduce inflammation of the brain.
Wow.
So it's great for any sort of chronic long-term brain issue you've got. It's incredibly...
I just love this doctrine of signatures. It's so groovy.
Yeah.
Like, it really is just the coolest thing ever.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
If you go, hey, let's try and create... like something that looks like a brain.
Yeah, this is incredibly. It just to describe it to anyone, you say it looks like a brain, and it'd be very accurate. People don't know what the brain looks like, so it's great for that anti-inflammatory effect of the brain.
Yeah.
It's also very good for your heart, like walnuts are, but it also has an anti-arrhythmic effect. So if you got arrhythmia, which is an abnormal rhythm of the heart.
Yeah, my mum does.
Yeah,
she's got a long QT.
Long QT syndrome, which is the bip thing, and it's long bip, elongated QT, yeah, incredibly beneficial.
It's something actually I've always been concerned about for myself because obviously my mum's got it, so genetically predisposed.
Yeah.
Damn it, I'm going to have to see it. Look, there's not a single freaking thing that you've mentioned that I'm going to go, I've got to eat that, I've got to eat that. What we need to do is create a super blend of all these things with the right ratio, Steve, and start selling that.
Just mixed nuts. You get it from the supermarket.
Shut up, Steve. Don't tell people. Yeah, no, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. And it doesn't cost you that much. You're getting good sources of fats, you're getting good sources of protein, you're going to get satiety, you're going to get all these benefits and realistically for not a lot. And the good thing is you don't have to eat crickets and bugs. No. You know, when they eventually ban meat, this should be your go-to, right?
Yes. Well, it gets better for this one. And you know what the biggest cause of death is MI, a myocardial infarction.
Right.
Okay? If you have walnuts, it's associated with a lower myocardial infarction. You get less heart attacks if you're eating walnuts, less heart attacks.
I wonder if it'd be good for things like myocarditis and pericarditis.
Because it's anti-inflammatory.
Would it help to treat it, Steve?
Yeah, I would, because it's anti-inflammatory.
Like,
just people are
crazy. People are just dropping dead.
Should be eating more nuts.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, it knocks down cancers, and this one, I'll get to the cancer thing.
Yeah, fight back.
I'm still crapping on about its heart thing because this is really good for the heart. But basically, it also lowers cholesterol.
Let's face it.
Yeah.
With a walnut, I mean, typically the heart's 4 chambers. Is a walnut in 4 sections?
I don't remember. There's 2 main.
I'm gonna have to get one because I don't know. Anyway, it is interesting.
Okay, so
like tomatoes are good for the heart, right?
Yep.
And they've got like chambers.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Yep. Pomegranates, very good for the heart.
Yeah.
They're actually in 4 sections.
There you go.
Right?
Yeah.
Left, right.
4 chambers.
Yeah. Anyway.
So also there's a chemical in walnut called phytomelanin. Phytomelatonin.
Oh.
So it helps you sleep.
Wow.
Very good for your brain melatonin.
It's interesting because Huberman came out sort of against melatonin recently. But melatonin, phytomelatonin, does that go through a process in the body?
Yeah, it's slightly different.
Because melatonin, is melatonin like vitamin D, like a hormone, Steve?
It is a hormone.
Yeah. So if the body's producing its own and then it can self-regulate, it's the same as like testosterone, like through anything that increases luteinizing hormone. If you're giving your body something like tribulus, you know, your body's up-regulating and it's producing what it needs. It's working with the body rather than just blunt-force trauma, right? So, okay, if you're having trouble sleeping, that could be an opportunity as well too.
Yeah, oral melatonin, even though it's a hormone, because melatonin fluctuates so much in the brain, it can be taken orally at certain times of the day.
Sure. I mean, and Steve, on the long flights that we had over to the States and that, I would only take 3 milligrams. Some people were taking like 10. And I found I didn't need that. I just needed a small amount. But I am mindful of, I mean, Huberman's a bit of an expert, right? I am mindful of what he says about, melatonin,
So the phytomelatonin is also a potently anti-carcinogenic agent. So this is a very, very anti-carcinogenic. So very anti-carcinogenic.
There you go.
But the benefits of walnuts, probably the main claim to fame, is that the polyphenols are metabolized into oligotannins and urolithins, which are one of the most potent metabolites of polyphenols there are that improves all sorts of health outcomes in the body.
Wow.
So that's why I sort of rate this one as a 10.
Yeah.
Not for flavour, though.
What can you do to walnuts to make them taste better? Dip them in chocolate and salt them? I don't know.
Salting them's all right. If you have a little bit of salt in them, I think that's all right.
Well, again, I'd put it up there. Would I rather eat a walnut or a Brazil nut? I think probably about the same, to be honest. I find them both. But
Brazil nuts are...
Yeah. Walnuts are probably, you're right, probably slightly better.
Yeah. Oh, well, suck it up. I've got to eat it because these are good for you.
Suck it up, princess. I don't think you're allowed to say that anymore.
Oh, can't we?
I don't think we're allowed to, no.
Okay. I mean, you should see the chart on this, guys. And I'll just go, normally I don't show you a biochemical chart. But look at the bottom chart and what eating walnuts
Chronic disease and mortality goes down.
Yeah.
Polyphenols.
I mean, look at that chart, just to describe
Tumour growth, insulin sensitivity goes up, tumour growth goes down, blood pressure goes down, LDL goes down.
It's bad cholesterol.
Arrhythmia,
it does everything, doesn't it?
Arrhythmia goes down.
Yeah.
Neuroprotective. I understand why you're giving that one a 10. All right, so I'm going to have to eat walnuts as well too. Fine.
Yeah, sorry.
Fine.
Super source of minerals.
If anyone's got any really good recipes or ways to eat walnuts that makes them taste nice.
And there's your gamma-tocopherol.
Deep fry them in batter, maybe.
See gamma-tocopherol off to the side there?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gamma-tocopherol. It reduces oxidation and inflammation. But bottom line, and the bottom of this graph says it reduces chronic disease and mortality death.
What is the, I know it's all different, but what is the percentage of protein and carbohydrates and fats in them, roughly?
Usually about 70% fat.
Yep.
And about 10 to 15% protein.
Yep.
And then the rest is carbohydrate, but it varies a bit.
I know cashews is quite a bit higher, though.
Yeah, a bit high in carbs.
What is the recommendation of fats to protein for ketogenic diet?
Usually you want 5% carbohydrate, 15% protein, and the rest 80% fat. So it's like a macadamia.
Pretty much, well, damn spot on, especially if you roast them, right?
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
Yeah, it is all right.
Well, Steve, I love it. I want to go. I'm going to nip down to the shops and grab some nuts now. But yeah,
careful. Ask before you do that.
Absolutely. Yeah. But I think that's definitely cool. Like, that's really cool. I've learned something there. And again, just don't eat bugs, eat nuts. Yep. Incorporate these. There's so many benefits there. Yeah. People get freaked out because of the fat content, but I think we've dispelled that myth now.
With the studies.
People know that fats are actually good for you, not bad for you.
Absolutely, they are.
All right,
get into them.
All right, Steve. Thanks for that, and we'll be back next week with some more. But talking about Australian things and all things Australian.
Yep.
Steve-O, I've got a little interlude. So somebody sent me, not you, Steve.
Oh, me?
No, not you. You're just there to look good. This little letter, which I just wanted to thank them to send this out. Hi, Jeff. Hope this gift finds you well. Thank you for reading out my question on the podcast. You, Steve, and the team are doing... Oh, there you go. You get a little...
I get a mention.
An amazing job providing entertaining and informative content. I'm writing to recommend a book I've read and enjoyed, and it is worth sharing. Hope you can find the time to read it and appreciate it too. In the grand view of things. Anyway, I have also added a small sample of my honey. Steve... Yeah, which is from the Oaks in New South Wales. I'm not sharing that, Steve.
Jeez.
That's precious.
I'm going off those polyphenols.
Yeah, which I love honey. I'm a bit of a bit of a honey bear. Lastly, a small book I bought 10 plus years ago. Hopefully you and Steve can have a laugh from this one.
I just read the title.
Which is Australian slang.
Yes.
So Tony flicked
I'll know them all.
My wife Tony flicked it up. So thank you, Keegan. So this is from Keegan. And it's even got Keegan's name on it, right? So this could be worth something in a few years. But the first one I opened up to the other day, which I thought was interesting, was blue ass fly. Steve-O, do you know what blue ass fly is?
Well, you say you use it in a sentence like, "Oh, I'm busy like a blue ass fly."
That's exactly right. Yeah.
So that's a great one.
It is. I got to change glasses. Yeah. Yeah.
It's just incredible, that one.
Yeah.
Oh, give me another one. I'll know all these.
Blower.
A blower. Oh yeah, the phone.
Yeah. Blowies.
Flies.
Blowing through.
It just means you're passing through.
Bludge.
It means to slack off.
Blue.
It means to have a blue is to have a fight.
Yep. Blue ass fly is a blue heeler.
A blue heeler is a dog.
Or typically normally called this in New South Wales. There was actually a show called...
Well, the blue heelers, they're called the police.
That's exactly right.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah. Bob's your uncle?
Oh, yeah, it means sure, no worries.
Bodgy?
Bodgy is how you describe to do a dodgy job.
False or worthless, yep. Bog?
Bog is the toilet.
Grog bog?
A what?
What's a grog bog?
Oh, grog bog. Oh, yeah, that's the morning after you drink heavily, you have a movement. I'm trying to put it into medical terms.
Yeah. Buffhead?
A buffhead is someone who's an idiot.
Wait, we haven't even got past bees. So this is fantastic.
That is gold.
Maybe we could do, and yeah, actually we can't, Steve. We've got some sad news coming up soon.
I know.
It's too early to sort of talk about that soon, but I was going to say we could start at A and go through to Z, but I don't think we'll get there.
All right.
But anyway, we'll talk more about that.
I got 100% for those anyway.
Anyway, just while we're talking about it, so this is the book, which is interesting because I love the idea of decentralized currency. I think as far as the freedom of the world is concerned, having an autonomous or having cash, having non-controlled government currency is absolutely critical. But I feel that the CBDCs, the central bank digital currency, is coming. And I think every single transaction that humans will do will be measured and monitored, and eventually you'll be given a score similar to, you know, how green you've been if you're eating too much meat. I think we've spoken about that, Steve. Gold, cash, and Bitcoin and other decentralized currencies were the answer to that. I don't think. I mean, I love it, and I understand it, and it's kind of fighting it back against the system.
Yeah.
And I'm going to read this book. I absolutely think this is the path that humanity needed to go down. Mm. But you're seeing now that they're actually using palm prints. Amazon have actually brought out a thing now where you can actually use your palm print to actually pay for. You don't need a credit card. You don't need these little RFID chips that they're putting under the skin now. You can use your palm print. They're also going to start doing it with facial recognition as well too.
Wow.
Technology is an amazing and scary thing.
Well, my face can unlock my phone, which therefore can unlock my credit cards.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know if you've ever done it, but anyone who's got a phone now, I haven't used cash in years, which is probably terrible. And Australia is, I think, probably one of the best places for that. Yeah. But you just, hit it double, right?
Oh,
I don't know.
Mine's not that clever.
And that's it. And that's all. I'm just doing that, right?
Yeah, I do that.
So it's funny how we just embrace technology because it's convenient, and it should be.
And I'm an old fuddy-duddy, and you think I'd be one of the last demographic, the 54-year-olds, to use that, but I use it all the time. Yeah. It's super convenient.
Yeah.
And if I lose my phone, no one can unlock it. It's got a lock.
That's right. But imagine your palm print.
It's even better.
Imagine using your facial recognition.
Yeah.
Because this is the thing: the positioning of your ears. Yeah. Some things can never change. Like you can have, surgery and all the rest of it, but some things don't change. The spacing of your eyes, the ears, and all that sort of stuff. But I think in terms of, there's some things you can't change, right? Yeah. So it's fascinating.
Yeah, it's interesting.
So imagine soon you won't even need your phone. You'll just be able to unlock things with your face. I've unlocked quite a few things with my face. Let me tell you, Steve, back in the day. Don't delete that. Don't delete that. Jeez. That's like picking up a girl. That's not rude. That's not sexual.
It's not sexual.
No, it's not. Did you delete that?
No, that's just marking it.
Oh.
just a review.
To review. Yeah. Be like, don't review that. Don't review it. But I'd be like, how you doing?
Yeah.
And that would... No, never worked. No one believes that, no. All right, Steve. So I think we've had enough Australiana.
Yes.
We've had enough.
Well, my one was, and I'm thinking this could even be American.
Yeah.
But you've got a cup of Joe.
That's American.
Is it really?
I think it is. I think that's it. I think, Steve, you've...
Morning cup of Joe. Is that American?
Yeah,
could be. Because we're blurred over here because, you're looking up in the Bible.
Look it up. All right, I'll give you one more, Steve.
All right, go for it.
In good nick.
Oh, yeah, in good nick means that, like me, I'm in good nick.
You're in good condition. Yeah, that's exactly right. All right, there we go. That's enough Australiana for one night.
All right.
But that was great. But thank you,
great.
Keegan. Really appreciate it. Love the book on Bitcoin and love honey. I mean, literally, you're absolutely, pitching what I'm catching, if that makes sense. So, Anyway, Steve, on with the show.
Let's go.
You better cut that one. You better cut that one. Okay.